Canelo will have to cut off the ring. He takes a left hand and
Canelo Alvarez tells the truth about Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford gets in his feelings about it. Canelo said other than Errol Spence, he ain't really beat no real good fighters.
It seems like you're referring to a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, which has generated a lot of buzz among fans. Crawford has primarily fought at welterweight, 147 lbs, while Canelo has fought at higher weights, including 168 lbs, where he is currently dominant. The fight would certainly be an intriguing clash of styles, with Crawford's speed and technical ability pitted against Canelo's power and experience at the higher weight classes. There has been a lot of talk about Crawford moving up in weight for bigger challenges, and Canelo's resume at 168 lbs has been impressive. So this fight would surely attract a lot of attention if it happens. What are your thoughts on the matchup? Do you think Crawford has a chance at beating Canelo, given the weight difference and experience disparity?
just grabs it, not an explosion. He tries to one punch, then turn it around, and there's an upper.
Official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation?
The rivalry between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has been heating up, and things recently escalated during a run-in at an airport. Both fighters were in the same place at the same time, as they were there to meet with Chai Alec. What started as a simple conversation quickly turned physical. Canelo, looking cold and unimpressed, told Crawford he didn't belong at 168 pounds. Crawford didn't back down, and he fired back, challenging Canelo over the conditions of his last fight. The tension between them is undeniable, and it seems like this fight is getting closer and closer to becoming a reality. Fans are eager to see how this rivalry unfolds, especially after their heated exchange.
Because he makes a big
crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. So that's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
Tension between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez hit a boiling point when a shove led to Canelo throwing a quick punch that landed on Crawford's chest. People nearby quickly stepped in to break them up before things got worse. When the police arrived, they separated the two fighters, but it was obvious this wasn't just a simple disagreement, it was turning personal. Canelo, smirking, dismissed Crawford's challenge, saying Crawford was too small and not worth his time. But insiders say the argument didn't stop there. According to those who witnessed it, Crawford and Canelo kept yelling at each other as they were escorted away. Crawford reportedly called Canelo a cherry picker and mocked his past opponents. In response, Canelo is said to have told his team, "This guy doesn't know what he's getting into. He's about to get hurt."
two fighters who, and neither fight
in the game.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing.
Terence Crawford had already been frustrated by Canelo Alvarez's comments about the quality of opponents Crawford has faced in his career. Now it's Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, who is upset with Canelo. The issue at hand is the rehydration clause that Canelo is reportedly asking of his opponents. This clause means that after fighters step on the scales to weigh in, they can't gain more than a certain amount of weight before the fight. Crawford, however, seems okay with it. He said that as long as he doesn't have a problem with the condition, neither does his trainer. If Terence doesn't have an issue with that, I don't either, McIntyre said.
It's two more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down.
That's not true. It's for people who are afraid to take on real challenges. When asked if they would demand the same rehydration clause for Canelo Alvarez, McIntyre responded firmly. He said, "This is boxing. I've got the skills. You step on the scale, you hit the weight, and no matter how much you weigh after that, once you accept the fight, it's on. Let's get in the ring and fight like men. It's that simple." Terence Crawford is determined to prove his greatness by facing Canelo Alvarez. He's not focused on the weight difference between them, because it's in moments like these, with challenges like this, that great fighters show who they really are.
Well, come in more, operating, they'll make
Eso. Venga.
When people say you're too small, outmatched, or shouldn't be in the ring with someone like that, that's when great athletes rise to the occasion. Terence Crawford told Boxing Scene. Amir Khan is the only fighter to have beaten both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Back in May 2016, Khan moved up to middleweight to challenge Canelo for the WBC title. The fight started competitively, but Canelo ended it in brutal fashion with a sixth-round knockout. 3 years later, Khan, fighting at his natural weight of 147 lbs, challenged Crawford for his WBO welterweight title. It was a similar story, with Khan being dropped in the first round before Crawford claimed a sixth-round TKO victory. Now, Canelo and Crawford are set to face off later this year in a highly anticipated showdown between two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But Khan says there's another man he faced who is just as dangerous.
Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for. I think that fight, if it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just...
In an interview on the AAT Live podcast, Amir Khan revealed that Marcos Maidana was the strongest fighter he's ever faced in the ring. Khan recalled, "I beat him in 2010, but that guy's a beast. I can't remember anything from the first round. Then, the rest of the fight was just a blur. I only remember things when I watch the fight back on TV. What a fight that was. There was speed, power, and everything in it. He was very heavy-handed."
Canelo was whooped at
exactly what he's gonna do to him.
Nah, facts.
Years prior to him dropping him, he told Errol Spence on video, he said, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show you."
Amir Khan explained that when Marcos Maidana hits you, you really feel it. It's not one of those stinging shots. Khan said, "I've been knocked down by shots that didn't hurt me much, like a flash knockout. But with Maidana, his power was different. It would go right through you. Even when he was next to you and hit you in the side of the ribs, you could feel how heavy his hand was." Khan went on to say that Maidana was the hardest hitter he's ever faced. Khan defeated Maidana by unanimous decision in December 2010 to retain his WBA super lightweight title. Many people consider this fight one of the best of the year.
Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, "Okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done."
Boxing fans are eagerly anticipating another potential fight of the year contender when Canelo Alvarez faces Terence Crawford later this year. Former champion Errol Spence Jr. has shared his take on the upcoming battle. He points out that Crawford is taking on a whole new level of challenge against Canelo, not just with the weight difference, but with the raw physical power of a fighter who has made his mark by dominating larger opponents. Many in the boxing world believe this is a risky move for Crawford, but his team remains confident and unwavering in their belief that he can rise to the occasion.
to have a fight. He's in there to win the boxing display. By Austin Trout.
Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, hey, why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best?
For years, Canelo Alvarez has been known for his ability to control the pace of a fight, consistently applying pressure on his opponents. His durability is unmatched, having taken heavy shots from powerful punchers like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol without backing down. On the other hand, Terence Crawford has never faced an opponent who can maintain that level of power for 12 full rounds. Many critics believe this will be the key factor in the fight. However, Crawford's team argues that weight and power aren't the only things that matter in a high-stakes fight like this. They believe Canelo has shown signs of slowing down in recent bouts, becoming more vulnerable and less dominant than before.
Crawford brings to the table Canelo hasn't seen. He's seen his boxing ability. He's seen speed. There's nothing that he don't have. He's seen Mayweather, man. He's seen Lara. He's seen all these guys. I mean, nothing he brings at a smaller weight, too, coming back up. Now let's switch it to the other side. Has Crawford seen any...
Crawford's team points to Canelo's fight against Jermell Charlo as evidence of his recent decline. In that bout, Canelo failed to secure a knockout against a naturally smaller man, even though Charlo was extremely cautious throughout the fight. Even more telling, they say, was Canelo's performance against John Ryder. While Canelo won the fight, it wasn't in the dominant fashion many expected. Ryder, who isn't considered an elite-level boxer, still managed to land a few clean shots, which gives Crawford's team hope. If Ryder could land punches, they argue, what could happen when Crawford, a much superior boxer, gets his chance?
But from a safe enough distance.
Particular human presence.
Makes me laugh with all the antics that Canelo is doing and saying in the media and whatnot about the size, and he won't get no credit and all this type of things. But Canelo been fighting small.
Terence Crawford is known for his ability to break down opponents before finishing them off. His success largely comes from his smart tactical adjustments and his skill in switching stances effortlessly, something that could pose serious challenges for Canelo. While Canelo has always been methodical in his approach, focusing on counterpunching and waiting for the right openings, Crawford's ability to constantly change his angles and style could throw off Canelo's rhythm in a way that few fighters have been able to do.
Versus Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50 fight?
Canelo Alvarez's most dedicated fans have been quick to dismiss the claims against him. They argue that Terence Crawford's success has mostly come against smaller fighters who don't have the defensive skills required to compete at the highest level in the larger weight classes. They point out that Errol Spence Jr., one of Crawford's biggest wins, was drained and visibly weakened when they fought. Additionally, many believe Crawford has never faced real power, and although he looked dominant against fighters like Spence, Sean Porter, and Kell Brook, none of those opponents have the same kind of skill and toughness as Canelo. Unlike Spence, who is flat-footed and easy to hit, Canelo has exceptional head movement and defensive skills. Team Canelo believes Crawford will quickly realize that he's up against a different level of fighter once the bell rings. Canelo's experience in the ring at the highest level is also a key advantage. He's faced top-tier fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Gennady Golovkin, and Miguel Cotto, and even in his losses, he has shown the ability to learn and grow. Crawford, for all his greatness, has never had to make those kinds of adjustments in a fight. However, Crawford's team, led by trainer Brian McIntyre, doesn't see this as a disadvantage. They believe Crawford hasn't needed to go through those tough wars because of his dominance, which they see as a sign of his skill, not an easy career. Outside the ring, the tension between Canelo and Crawford has already become personal. Canelo, known for his calm and professional demeanor, has been unusually dismissive of Crawford, referring to him as a small guy and laughing off the idea that Crawford could be a real threat. Crawford, never one to back down, has responded fiercely, believing that Canelo's arrogance will be his downfall. He's more motivated than ever to expose what he sees as weaknesses in the Mexican superstar. Even during a private meeting with promoter Eddie Hearn, tensions were high, with Canelo allegedly brushing past Crawford, prompting Crawford to mutter, "Laugh now, cry later."
Full power right hands, many of them leading the exchange.
But Canelo now knows.
You know, that's what everybody want to see. The only way they can be answered is if me and Canelo is in the ring and we fight.
For me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in, because I don't like to fight guys like
160. Like you said, I will give you Terence Crawford could be an anomaly. He can, because he's that good of a boxer. But we can't forget, Canelo has been in the sport just as long.
There's also talk about the judges, especially given Canelo's history of receiving favorable scorecards in close fights. Crawford's team is fully aware of this and has made it clear that they won't leave the outcome to the judges. This hints that Crawford will likely push the pace early in the fight, possibly testing Canelo's stamina, which has been questioned in recent years. Another controversial aspect of the fight is the role of Turkish backer Alec. Some fans believe that Alec is more invested in making Crawford the star of the event, due to his admiration for underdog stories. On the other hand, Some argue that Canelo is still the bigger draw, and that the behind-the-scenes politics will ultimately favor him. Both fighters understand that the business side of boxing can be just as harsh and unpredictable as the sport itself.
In boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody. And
a major concern for Canelo's team is Crawford's mentality. They've noticed that Crawford thrives when people doubt him. To him, this is just another chance to prove everyone wrong. He's always believed that when opponents underestimate him, it only makes him more dangerous. Despite the size difference, many experts think Crawford has the speed and sharpness to land punches at will, as long as he can keep the fight in the center of the ring. They believe he has a real chance to outbox Canelo over 12 rounds. However, if Canelo can trap him against the ropes, his body shots could wear Crawford down, making it harder for him to keep moving throughout the fight. No matter how the fight turns out, one thing is certain: this is as much about legacy as it is about money. Canelo doesn't want to be remembered as the guy who lost to a smaller fighter. Crawford, on the other hand, is determined to cement his legacy as an all-time great by doing something that many think is impossible. With both men unwilling to back down, it's only a matter of time before the talking ends and the punches start flying. The entire boxing world is watching closely, and no matter the outcome, this will be a fight that people will talk about for years to come.
And he went down.
Trout fighting back. Boston Trout.
I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't want to get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small.
Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better.
Israel Moff's prediction about the upcoming mega fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has caused quite a stir. Known for his blunt honesty, Moff didn't hold back when asked who he thought would win this highly anticipated match. After going toe-to-toe with Crawford in a tough battle for the WBA light middleweight title last year, Moff is familiar with Crawford's skills. However, his bold prediction about how Crawford will fare against Canelo has only added fuel to the fire of speculation surrounding the fight. Moff's forecast was simple: Canelo Alvarez will win, and not just win, but win by decision. His reasoning? The weight difference between the two fighters. It's a very different weight class. Canelo will win. I think by decision. Moff told Boxing News. While many people might expect Crawford, one of the most skilled and dangerous boxers of his generation, to have a real chance against Canelo, Moff's words cast doubt on Crawford's ability to step up 2 weight classes and pull off a victory. What makes Moff's statement even more controversial is how much it differs from what others in the boxing world are saying. Canelo Alvarez, who holds multiple world titles in the super middleweight division, is known for being a calculated and powerful boxer who excels against bigger opponents. His ability to take hits and deliver powerful punches has made him a feared figure in the ring. Many experts believe that at 168 lbs, Canelo will simply be too much for Crawford to handle, especially since Crawford has mostly been fighting in the welterweight division.
No, Canelo, I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds.
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Headweight.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even a fan of that fight. There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo...
While Moff's opinion is certainly bold, he's not the only one weighing in on the upcoming mega fight. Jaron Boots Ennis, another rising star in the sport, has also shared his thoughts. But his take on the match is much more balanced. Ennis, known for his slick boxing style and knockout power, has called the fight a 50-50 battle. He pointed out that Crawford will be putting on an extra 14 lbs to compete at super middleweight, which could impact his performance. He's going to have to put on an extra 14 lbs, so he might be a little slower, Or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. We'll see on fight night, Ennis said. The idea of Crawford, a fighter known for his speed, agility, and defensive prowess, potentially being slowed down by the extra weight, has sparked quite a bit of discussion among boxing fans. It's a valid point. Crawford has always relied on his quick reflexes and ability to control the pace of a fight. Moving up in weight could definitely change that dynamic, especially when facing a fighter like Canelo, who is not only physically imposing, but also incredibly skilled at applying pressure. While Crawford's move to super middleweight is one of the most talked about aspects of this showdown, it's equally important to consider what makes Canelo so dangerous at this weight. Not only has he proven himself against top-tier opponents like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Billy Joe Saunders, but Canelo has also shown a remarkable ability to adapt his style depending on the challenge at hand. Whether it's brawling in close or using his boxing IQ to outmaneuver his opponent, Canelo can do it all.
He'll try to hurt him and shows a little more, and there's Canelo.
Able to land the Canelo Crawford fight, which was announced. I don't know that it's actually official. It's official, but it sounds like
has the Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you're still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk. With the right, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that
Despite the immense respect Terence Crawford has earned throughout his career, some critics, including Canelo Alvarez himself, have raised doubts about Crawford's track record. Speaking to TMZ Sports, Canelo acknowledged Crawford's skills, but quickly downplayed his resume, especially when comparing it to his own extensive list of victories. Look, I respect Terence Crawford. He's very good, but he's just won one big fight. If you look at his record, he's only beaten one good boxer. Other than that, he hasn't fought other top fighters like Spence, Canelo said. Canelo's comments were aimed at Crawford's most significant victory, his win over Errol Spence Jr. last year. While many consider this fight to be Crawford's defining moment, Canelo's statement reflects his belief that Crawford hasn't faced the same caliber of competition that he himself has. For Canelo, it's not just about the victories, but about the level of opponents you've beaten along the way. And in Canelo's view, Crawford's resume doesn't quite stack up to his own. However, it's not just the size difference that gives Canelo the advantage. His ability to close the distance and apply constant pressure could be a real challenge for Crawford, who excels when he controls the distance. In their respective weight classes, both fighters are masters at setting the pace of a fight. But in a showdown like this, something will have to give. Crawford's key problem will be keeping his trademark speed and movement while trying to adjust to Canelo's relentless attack. How do you think this fight will unfold? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.